What's going on, guys? This is Dave from PNP, and I'm here to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. I just want to remind you that's the easiest place to play. There ain't too many places where you can win 20 times your money in the same night, utilizing higher lowers in the Pick'em game. And now they have Pick'em Insurance, where while you won't win the same amount of money that you did before, you can miss one and still bring home some money. So if you do it 3 times, you could potentially still get your money back if you end up missing one. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up today and use the code PNP when you do. And the $100 deposit match still stands. Guys, this is Dave, one half of PNP. Hopefully you guys had a much better fantasy week than I did, because it was a rough week for me. I will say that, to say the least. So we can get into our options. We're down to the final stretch. We got 2 weeks remaining going into the fantasy football season. If you made the playoffs, congrats. Welcome to the playoffs. Hopefully you're sitting there in a pretty spot. If you're still trying to get in, these last 2 weeks are critical. There are some situations where you could win these next 2 and be the top seed, or lose these 2 and be going home. So I'm here to help you out from a waiver wire perspective. We talked about handcuffs weeks ago. Those are the obvious ones. At this point, you kind of have your core. Trade deadlines are coming up for a lot of leagues, so this is your opportunity if you're in that desperation phase, if you need to close something out. But, at this point, you got what you got. You got what you got. I did too, bro. Welcome to the club. Happened to me in 3 leagues. Those are the breaks. Luckily I can still make the playoffs in all of them, but those are the breaks. Yo, man, true story. We had a guy in one of my leagues that started I think I pulled it up. No, I did that in a different chat. We had a guy in a league that started 7-0. He just won his first game since starting 7-0. He lost like 4 straight after. But if he would have lost today, he would have fell all the way to 9th. But he luckily won. So he's staying within the playoffs for now. So anyway. Yeah, it's not a bad strategy. If your waiver doesn't reset every week, I can't be mad at that, because you never know, especially if you have a bye. If you're if you're in a league that gets bye weeks and you end up earning a bye going into the first round of playoffs, it makes sense to be higher on the waiver, because I've had situations in the past where my guy gets hurt on my bye week, and I gotta try to get the backup if I didn't have it already, or something to that effect. Okay, but we want to talk about free agents. A lot of guys you can go after, man. Hasty is going to get interesting. Jermichael Hasty. Travis Etienne got hurt, and Hasty stepped in and played pretty damn well. And I know he's available in the league that you're in, because I'm pretty sure nobody had him. Because none of y'all handcuffed. So none of y'all were handcuffing the Jacksonville running back. Gus Edwards is still available, which is weird, probably because he's been hurt. And bye weeks, roster spots make sense. Isaiah Pacheco, he's available in a decent chunk of leagues. Kyron Williams actually got more snaps than the LA Rams. Not the LA Rams, but than my guy Cam Akers. So that's something you got to monitor. He kind of took over the snaps. The Jets running back situation has been a certifiable mess. James Robinson was a healthy scratch going into Sunday morning for the New York Jets. Michael Carter got injured, so that means Zonovan Knight is the guy you need to start considering. And I know he's he's available in every single league you can imagine. So just keep that in mind. I'm never a big fan of trusting the running back situation, but if you're desperate, that's going to be an option. Although I do think they will probably bring up James Robinson. I anticipate that. Now, as for the quarterback position, Deshaun Watson's a guy, if he's available, if you are desperate at the quarterback position, and we talked about him a few weeks back, go get him. Because if you need help at the quarterback position, go get him. Mike White had a pretty damn good game. So you could think about getting Mike White. Trevor Lawrence, crazy enough, is available in a lot of leagues too. And Jared Goff is another guy you can consider. Wide receiver, I've been talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones for weeks. I've been talking about Zay Jones for weeks. I've been talking about Mac Hollins for weeks. These are pretty much the same guys. I'm shocked that they're still available in a lot of leagues. And of course, get your handcuffs. As for tight ends, it's a wasteland, man. There ain't really much you could say about that. Oh, yeah, let me pull my ticker up because we only have 2 teams on the bye this week, the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. The Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers are the only teams on the bye this week. So the byes are going to be pretty light, and we only have 1 more week of byes remaining, and that is next week. And I pray to God that you guys don't have byes in the final week and you're trying to push for a playoff spot. But just for the sake of letting you guys know who's going to be available for bye week, who's going to be on the bye week in week 14, let me go ahead and hook y'all up and tell y'all who that's going to be. Bye week for week 14 will be the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, the New Orleans Saints, and the Washington Commanders. We have 6 teams on a bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. God bless you guys. My Falcons, not too bad. Chicago, not too bad. Packers, We've been using Aaron Jones, that might hurt. Jonathan Taylor, that might hurt. Kamara, Olave, that's going to hurt a little bit. And then, the wide receivers from the Commandos. That might hurt. That might sting a bit. But yeah, man. All right, let me go check some of these questions out. If I ain't got too many, I ain't going to stay too long. He got hurt. I can't remember if he came back or not. He got hurt. I recall him getting hurt. I'm not sure if he came back, but I recall him getting hurt. I ain't mentioned Jordan Love because I don't know if I would take my chances with that, buddy. It's my opinion. I don't know if I would take a chance on Jordan Love. I don't think I would. Kenneth didn't do too bad this week, did he? I mean, he got touchdowns, didn't he? Because Kenneth got 2 TDs. And Saquon did all right, too. Kenneth Walker got 2 touchdowns last week. I don't give a damn about the 50 yards if you get the 2 TDs. I mean, look at your standings, bro. I mean, it all depends what your standings are. I mean, in a lot of my leagues, 500 is going to probably be enough to get you in. I mean, if you can push through and win the last 2, that'll kind of secure you. But I think in a lot of my leagues, 7 and 7 is going to be enough. I'm not putting DJ Moore no higher than a flex for me. If you're desperate at wide receiver too, but that's a moot point this week because the Panthers are on bye. You ain't got to worry about it week 13. Would I trade Brian Robinson for Kittle? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's look at the let's pull up the scoring leader, shall we? Give me 1 second, guys. Let's pull up the scoring leaders because I'm not sure about this whole trade. Kittle's averaging 11.4 points a game. I mean, he's doing a little bit better. I'm not a big fan of his target share, though. And it hasn't gotten better since McCaffrey's gotten on the team. So that's a scary proposition for me to trust George Kittle right now, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't do that, man. Who's your tight end right now, man? Absolutely not. Sutton is not a wide receiver 1. Not in fantasy. Yeah, I mean, Pollard's no more than a flex for me anyway. But the thing about Pollard is he's more useful in a PPR format than a non PPR format. I would keep playing Higbee. I would keep Brian Robinson and keep playing Higbee, man. Is he ruled out yet? I didn't realize. I saw that my man McCaffrey was questionable because Elijah Mitchell's going to be out for a while too. So, man, now I got to start thinking about who the heck my running back going to be. Oh, let me blow this up for you guys. Hold on. Let me see something. So you telling me that you guys are telling me that, yeah, I saw that McCaffrey was questionable, but I didn't see what his injury was. Knee irritation. Oh, dear. bro, like when you hear knee irritate, well, we know Elijah Mitchell's going to be out, so he's going to be out for a couple weeks. That I feel for him, man. He just came back too. Tyrion Davis Price and Cal Juszczyk. So you know they're going to mix that up. That is a scary proposition, guys. That is a scary proposition. I don't know if I can take any chances with the running back situation in San Francisco if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play. Oh God, that's a scary proposition. But I mean, that's some terrible timing too, I will say. Oh, shout out to Josh Jacobs though. Josh Jacobs out here living his best life, balling. He might get somebody to the promised land at this rate. So shout out to Josh Jacobs. Joe Mixon stayed in the top 10 even with the injury, man. And now you can't drop Pollard. Pollard's still up there. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you still got to play him. My boy Kenneth Walker III. Yeah, I ain't worried about the yards, bro, because he keeps getting in the end zone, even though I will say these last two games have been terrible, but the touchdowns have saved them. So, you know. And the PP and the receptions. This definitely saved them against Tampa. But Tampa was a pretty good run defense. And the Rams are too, so we'll see. Yeah, the next couple of weeks are going to be brutal. I mean, Rams, Panthers, 49ers. But if you can get past week 15, man, you get the Chiefs in the semifinal matchup, but then you're going to have to deal with the Jets in the finals. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough sledding. Yeah, schedules of your players matter at the end of the game, man. At the end of the day, you want to try to leverage as many matches as possible, but you got to balance it. Tevin Coleman's on the Niners. They ain't damn sure didn't show him. But you're right. I think he is on the Niners. It says right here he's a free agent. You sure he's on the Niners? Nah, he's not on the Niners. He used to be on the Niners, probably. Yeah, he used to be. I don't think he's on the Niners anymore. He's a free agent now. But yeah, man. You know, good old players, man. They balling. Ramon J. Stevenson, man, if you drafted him later, man, it worked out for you. And, you know, Dalvin Cook's starting to become disappointing for me. 11th is cool. He cost me this week with his 7 points in half-point PPR. Wide receiver, usual suspects. I pray for who had Cooper Kupp because there's really no replacing that type of production. My man's been out for how many games? He's been out for 2 games. And he's still 5th in fantasy. And he only got 3 points in week 10. And he's still 5th in fantasy. That's how far ahead he was before the injury. Dolphins got two wide receivers in the top 6. You know, so. There goes DJ Moore, man. As long as we don't see Baker Mayfield, you can probably put him in your lineup. I still wouldn't trust him no more than a low-end wide receiver 2 flex guy. That didn't happen, did it? I always make my adjustments as such. That's a valid point. Well, check and see if there's any Titans available. Let's see here. Let me hop in some of my big leagues real quick. Let's see what the tight end situation looking like in this league. I don't know why the hell somebody would drop Jared Everett. So I know that's not going to be an expected thing. But, I mean, get Conklin or Jawan Johnson. He's probably or Evan Ingram. I mean, you know, we in wasteland status right now. But I don't know if I'm willing to trade a running back to go get Kittle, who really hasn't been doing that much. But yeah, this is not a good place to be. And the last couple of games, the targets haven't been where they need to be either. So I don't understand. Well, Hooper, 4 targets. Brait, trash. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not willing to give up Robinson because Robinson might keep putting in that work. I do remember this. And they traded Jeff Wilson away. I thought they got rid of him. Yeah, I'm with him. I thought they got rid of him. They better update the app then. Dolphins. Tampa or Seattle. Tampa. Unless he just got picked up. And that could be plausible. Yo, I saw that and I was done. You put Mixon at flex over Pollard. Zay Jones is startable. I would take my chance with Zay Jones because Zay Jones has been getting a decent chunk of targets. Let me show you, man. I'll show you why. Give me 1 second. Sorry, hold on. Zay Jones, he's had double-digit targets in the last 2 games. So Trevor Lawrence likes throwing to the guy, and he's got Detroit this week. So it's a pretty good matchup. So give me Zay Jones. I like the target share. I think at this point, yes. Yep. And actually, I plan on it in some leagues, believe it or not. I got Curtis Samuel in a couple leagues. It's bye week season, man. It can happen sometimes. I'm cool with Trey McBride. Nah, you got to start mixing Jacobs. Oh, well, if those are your running backs, yeah, start mixing Jacobs, Mixon, Jacobs, and Pollard. Those will be your 3. You can have Pollard in the flex. That's cool. As long as you're starting them all, man, because if you got all 3 of those guys, you need to play all 3 of them because that's how you're going to win. That's where your advantage lies. And ain't at wide receiver if you got to start Zay Jones. Now you're gonna have me looking to see where Tevin Coleman is, man. You guys are killing me. Now let me go check these Twitter streets. Because I do remember that whole fiasco with him. They could have brought him back. And that's the case, yeah, you need to pick him up. Oh, he is back. Yeah, all right. I stand corrected. Let's see. It's either going to be Coleman or Davis Price, man. So, yeah, Coleman. If Coleman's available, you should go get him. All right. Yeah, see, man, I don't know if I want to trust any of those guys, man. And it's not. My problem is we know how San Francisco can sometimes get when it comes to splitting the work. So my big concern right now is Man, I just. Yeah, Mason's the early down guy. So if Mason's the early down guy, then yeah, he's probably number one. But then Tevin Coleman's going to be unpredictable. So it's going to make it difficult. I don't know if I even want to touch that. Yeah, but the thing is, man, Shanahan, until he got CMC, and even with CMC near the end, Shanahan started splitting the work. Let's see here. Burrow, Gino, give me Burrow here. Yeah, there's too many backs, bro. There's too many backs. Once you get, like, I'm not a fan of starting running backs when there's two of them. I damn sure ain't a fan of it when there's three. I'll take my chances with Mike White. You should, because their defense is going to suffer because they're going to have a lack of quarterback play for the next couple of weeks. Wilson Jr., Singletary, or Dillon. Give me Wilson Jr. But monitor the Moser situation, but I still think I prefer Wilson Jr. over Singletary and Dillon. Burrow. Burrow over Gino. Yeah, but even with the workload being split up, CFC was still getting his. But I think what killed him this time was his injury. You're right about that, man. We gotta get this 20. We gotta get this 20K popping. So if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's see. I'm gonna give you guys some guys you consider trading that might not cost you as much, but you're gonna have to pay something, but it might not cost you as much as it normally would. One guy you consider trading for, DJ Moore. Perfect time to do it too. It's his bye week. Typically when it comes to trades, people tend to be more willing to trade people that are on a bye because there's somebody they can't necessarily utilize this week anyway because they're thinking about the short term. Another guy you can consider, Garrett Wilson. But yeah, it's gonna cost you. This might cost you a little bit more because of the big game he had. Another guy you should consider going after. I mentioned this last week, and I stand by it. You really should consider Chris Godwin. If you can. Poor Darnell Mooney, huh? George Pickens, if you're froggy about it. But I mean, I don't know how much that's gonna buy you. I mean, if you want to go after Marquise Brown as well, that's an option as well. I mean, he got 8 targets in that game. I mean, that's something that you can consider. After the bye week, I'm definitely gonna put him back in. You have to pay a lot to go get Hopkins, though. Yeah, Hopkins has been balling, man. So good. Yeah, man. Well, someday we got to have a discussion about Gabe Davis. Maybe after the season's over. Because he got a lot of hype, and I was very hesitant about him because of his target share. If you got Najee, yeah, I think he has to be. Najee had that real big game last week, and then this week he did okay. But yeah, you gotta such a disappointment. But yeah, you gotta go get Snell. He still got you 10 points though if you played him. So it looks like he was on track. But yeah, no, those are the breaks sometimes. Not a bad idea. I'm playing him. I'm rolling with Seahawks defense this week. Kinda. That's an understatement. Najee, by far. By far. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. I'm going to show you why, man. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Najee, by far. Now, granted, from a per game average, here's Dalvin Cook. I mean, Dalvin Cook's sitting high in RB2, so he's 14th. All right, Najee Harris. It's like 23-24. So, and then if we go into fantasy points, Dalvin Cook's 11th. Najee's like 20th. So, Najee Harris by far. At least Dalvin Cook's giving me first round numbers. You know. Some of the guys in front of him. I mean, Josh Jacobs, that was phenomenal value. Same goes for Saquon Barkley. And Stevenson. There's a couple value guys that kind of pop. So if you held off on getting a running back, you got one of those other studs, man, you might have a freaking impossible team to beat. Give me Buffalo defense. No. Nah. I'm not rolling. I mean, it's too early to talk about that anyway, but nah, I'm not rolling. If I had to think about who would probably be near the top of the heap going into next season, I mean, you kind of just look at this list, right? I mean, you start here. Depending on how this rolls, right? I mean, you would think Eckler would probably arguably be the guy. He in a PPR format, Eckler's a guy that's probably going to be up here. I think Josh is in the debate. So is Derrick Henry. But then when you start, like when you go by average per game, yeah, I mean it's probably going to be 1A and 1B here. But I do think it depends on where Josh Jacobs ends up. Then after that, you can debate McCaffrey or Henry. Depending on if you in the PPR league, you could argue Chubb. But we'll see what happens with Kareem Hunt. And then you get into the Barkleys, your Mixons, So now it's gonna be a little bit interesting next year. Yeah, I didn't have Josh Jacobs in no league because everywhere I wanted to get him, he got taken pretty much around before. I don't know if we can pay him, man. He's gonna demand a lot of money. But I will say he would be the perfect running back to go get. That's for sure. Nah, Jacobs has always been eating, bro. Nah, that's not fair to Josh Jacobs. He's been a constant eater. I mean, he's been a constant eater. Let's pull that up real fast. Yeah, he's been a constant eater. I mean, he's only had one season where he hasn't ran for over 1,000 yards. So, nah, he's a constant eater. So that's not fair. So yeah. So yeah, no. He's only had one game, only year we ain't run for over 1,000 yards. This is his best season though. I will say that. But his rookie season wasn't too shabby either. Considering he only played 13 games. So nah, I'm not rolling. Nah, he's done his duty. He's done his thing. Shout out to him. So only one season he have 1,000 yards. Yeah, that was wild. But the thing is, I kind of understand it's a running back position, and it looks like the Raiders are just cash poor. So that's a whole nother different discussion. But all right, guys, it is time to shut this bad boy down. I am going to go ahead and get ready for bed. Maybe I'll do some Twitter Spaces and some other stuff maybe later. I don't know. But I do need to wash some clothes and get some things set up. I got an arcade machine coming into the house later this week probably. So make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know we're on. We're still working a roundtable. I'm likely going to jump in on a roundtable tomorrow, but we're still trying to plan one for Saturday. So I think C3's trying to do something tomorrow, but I'm shooting to try to plan something for Saturday. If Fournette's out, give me White here. Give me Rashad White. Otherwise, Jeff Wilson. But it's real close. And with that, good night. Y'all have a good one. Peace. And always remember, keep pounding.